Hi, I've created a variation on the Dropit project demo that was shown in lecture 12 in dynamic animation. So let's first run the project and show what the default behavior was. So here we had the fixed circle in the middle of the screen, and random cubes were dropped, and it could be also attached, and once a row was filled, that row was removed from the screen. So as we can see, wait a little bit, I have to wait a little bit for the animation to stop. Okay, it did pause and that row got removed, and I guess it's still moving a bit here. And okay, so that was the default implementation. So what I've done here is, first of all, I used one bridging header to turn on debugging so that we could see the frames of each drop, the drops, the square shaped drops. So I'm going to turn on first debugging just to show you how that looks. So I'm going to start dropping. So you can see frames being drawn around each cube, which is basically the UI view. This is useful for debugging because in case you want to change the shape of the UI view, which we're going to do here, and to see how that works. So let's change the shape of the cubes. So I've basically used a very simple way to implement balls or spheres, so to speak. The simple way is just to draw a frame and enable the corner radius size to be the size of the bounds width divided by 2, and enable clippings also. So what this will do is it will provide us with the spheres that we are looking for, or the balls, so to speak. Because in assignment 5, if you recall that we have to create a breakout game where a ball is going to be shot through space and hit bricks and make the bricks crumble and dissolve in space. So okay, so now we have these spheres, but if you'll notice that now the debugging enabled property, by setting that to true, will help us identify a problem that I came across, which is these spheres are basically UI views. So, and UI views are rectangles. So as you can see, this ball is not really touching this ball. The outer boundary, this rectangle, is actually touching the rectangle of this sphere. The sphere themselves are not touching each other. Here, of course, you can see as if this ball is supposed to touch it, but here also you can see there's a space, and we want to resolve this. And luckily, there's a new feature in iOS 9, a new thing in iOS 9, not a new feature, a new property for UI views, which is basically collisionBoundsType. This helps us to specify the shape of the view, in which case we want an ellipse. So what we do is go back to Dropit to the view controller and basically use this custom UI view and comment this out. So this will help us to create that that round-shaped view that we are looking for. So let's drop some balls, spheres, if you prefer to call them. So now look, they're snugly hugging each other, and that's exactly what we wanted. Let's drop a few more, just for fun. Nicely hugging each other, exactly the behavior we wanted. Now to wrap up quickly, I'm going to show you one more cool thing in iOS 9 that I found, and just for the fun of it, I implemented this. We go to our Dropit behavior, and this new thing is called the UI field behavior. It lets us do pretty cool things. You can look at the documentation. I have this opened up here. You can use spring field, electric field, magnetic field, vortex field, and all kinds of cool stuff. And having the debug enabled, it creates a pretty nifty effect. And just for that sake, I decided to implement it maybe in some game. Actually, UIKit Dynamics is not really meant for games, but still, it has a very nice and interesting property that creates a field. What I've done here is basically I've enabled a noise field, and what this does is it generates random noise in the in the uh, in the space, and we can create pretty interesting effects. As you can see, the gravitational pull is making this ball kind of float and behave a little bit wildly. And once it's settled down, so it's going to stop. And there you go, it's floating in air. These are the random noises that are being created. And as you can see, here is the gravity pull here right now, and it's going to stop probably right here. And you can see here it's following here, and it's moving along the path, and it's shifting all the time and creates some pretty fun effects. Let's drop some more. There you go. You can see them. You could almost visualize that based on taps. This should probably the field noise should follow the taps of the users to create some effect in a game or something. And then again, like I said, UIKit is not really meant for games, but for your user interface, you could come up with some wild implementation probably. And so there you go. I hope you enjoyed this quick video and this demo of this new UI field behavior implementation. Thanks a lot.